Hi guys, my name is Christine and I'm a dating, relationship and personal development coach. And today I'm talking about why you need to stop being nice and why being nice sometimes ruins your chances. So obviously there's a trope on the internet that people talk about a lot, and that is like the nice guy or the nice girl who does favors for the opposite sex or the same sex, as the case may be, and basically they do it in such a way because they are hoping that by being nice, they're actually going to be able to win the favor of that person that they're being nice to. They're able to get a date out of them or a relationship or something else, right? So what typically happens with these kinds of things is the guy or the girl, whoever it may be, who is trying to get this person, tries to win them through favors, through friendship, by taking basically the less direct route to their heart. They're trying to find basically like the friendship route to their heart. And if they think if they're nice enough, if they're kind enough, if they're courteous enough, that they'll be able to get a date out of this person and they'll eventually fall in love with them because of how nice they are and things like that. I think the main reason why it doesn't work is because usually people can tell what's going on, right? So basically, if someone's being nice to me, then I can generally tell if it's authentic or not, or if they want something from me, right? Even if their heart is in the right place and they are being nice to you, or you're being nice to them, whatever the case may be, and you're doing it because you do actually really care about them and you do actually want to be nice to them. But if there's something like you have a crush on them or you have feelings for them, typically the other person is going to be suspicious about what's going on. Even if they don't ever spring it up, even if they don't ever say to you directly, they're still going to be a little bit like, I wonder if this person is being nice to me because they actually are into me, they like me, right? And I think that's the main problem, right? The main problem is in inauthenticity. Whereas if you, from straight out the gate, you just said that you were interested in them and you wanted to date them and you basically wanted to know when they're available, if they wanted to go out with you, and you were more direct about it, that's more genuine because that's how you actually feel. Like you want to go out on a date with them, you want to be in a relationship with them, you want something romantic with them. And that is more authentic because that's the truth. But if you're like, I'm going to be shy about this, I'm going to be a little bit, I don't know, I'm just going to go around this a different way. I'm going to be their friend first. I'm going to do things this way. It seems methodical and it's not authentic because what you really want is you want to be in a relationship with them. And you have to be honest with yourself because there might be some people watching this thinking, oh, no, I genuinely do want to be their friend. Which, yeah, may be the case. But if you have a crush on them, you also have a crush on them. And I'm guessing the crush that you have on them is a lot stronger than the friendship vibes. Otherwise, you wouldn't be watching a video like this one, right? So you have to be honest with yourself, basically. Like, okay, I have a crush on this person. I have feelings for them. I should probably ask them out, right? And that's the better way to do things as opposed to being nice and giving them gifts or just being being their ear basically when they have problems, just always being for them, which is a good thing to do. It is a nice thing to do. And if you got into a relationship with that person, then that, of course, that's what you would do. You would be not just a lover to them, but you would be their companion as well and someone that they could talk to because that's how relationships tend to go. All right, but you can't really do that sort of thing at the beginning. It's better to start with, hey, I think you're really cute. Would you like to go on a date? When are you available to do so? Asking those kinds of things and basically seeing what their response is. Because I think sometimes people take the friendship route because they know for whatever reason that this person might say no to them and they're just fearing rejection, which is why a lot of people do the nice guy or nice girl route to begin with and want to be friends first and giving them gifts and being courteous and being really nice to them, because they're just afraid of rejection, which might be something that you are feeling as well. Because obviously, yeah, it is putting your heart on the line when you go up to someone that you have a crush on and saying to them that you're into them and you'd like to go on a date with them. That is something that is very it's a very brave thing to do, basically. Like, it's not an easy thing to do, and you are putting yourself and you're putting your neck out on the line basically for rejection. But the thing is that if you go the other way and you're just being their friend first, basically what's going to happen is your feelings are going to stew, they're going to get stronger, you're probably going to fall in love with them, things are just going to get really, really deep because, you're in their life, because you're talking to them a lot, you're being their friend, you're being their buddy, you're being their ear, and you're developing a deeper connection with each other. And before you know it, it's going to be really difficult when you do ask them out, when you do kind of like love vomit basically on them, and when when things just get too much, because that's something I've definitely been in. I've had friendships where I had crushes on girls, and then I would and then eventually, like, I would be friends with them for such a long time that I would develop such a strong feeling for them that I would write them a letter or just tell them over Facebook or something that I was into them or something, and that would just completely ruin basically the whole thing, basically, and that ruined the whole friendship, because I just didn't go with what I thought to begin with and just ask them out straight away, because that would have given me a more clear-cut understanding. But we live and we learn. I was only a teenager at the time, so it is what it is, basically, right? So the thing is that with two people that are so with two people, and where one really likes the other, but the other one is a sort of a bit unaware, even though they may have a sneaky suspicion. Basically, if you are not direct to begin with, then basically this person is just going to develop a deeper friendship with you. But if you have a crush on this person and you keep on developing a friendship with them, you're just going to fall in love even harder with them. So the friendship is more for, starts growing for this one, and the love starts growing more for this person. So it just gets too deep, basically, which is why, and the thing is as well, love affairs at the beginning have to be more of a casual thing. It's more of a casual thing, where, you two just go out on dates, you get to know each other, and you get to know each other that way, and you keep on dating, you probably go out once a week with each other, and then eventually, you start seeing each other more, you start seeing each other 2 times a week, and then it gets to 3 times a week, and then you're living together, and all of this happens over the course of like 2 to 6 months, right? Where you really start getting into each other's life. And that's the way it's supposed to go. It's supposed to start as something casual, and then it gradually turns into something more of a romance. But when it comes to the other way, where you're trying to be a friend first, you're still unaware of how that person actually feels about you. It could be the case that you do get rejected by them, right? And it's better to know that from the beginning rather than 6 months down the line when you've developed a really strong friendship with them and you're in love with them because you spent so much time invested into them, right? And then you get really angry, or you might get upset, and you get heartbroken because you've just made it too long. You've made the process too long for yourself, and you've just raked your heart over the coals, and you've just got into a deeper mess. Which is why being nice, even though it sounds like the right thing to do, even though it sounds like a nice thing to do for someone, to be there for them, it's often actually ruining your chances. And it's way better to just be honest from the gate, right? And just say to them that you would like to go on a date with them, and ask them when they're available to hang out with you for this date, right? And doing that first, so you don't get in this sort of mess later on down the road with someone who doesn't even like you to begin with. But I know it's difficult, like I said, like it's difficult putting your heart out on, putting your neck out on the line, but it's easier to do that at the beginning than it is in like 6 months down the line when you're in love with them and they reject you. It's better to get rejected at the beginning, where it can be easily kind of rectified, because you can just be like, okay, just take it as a compliment and to not worry about it, whatever it may be that you say to them. It's much more, it's less intense. But if you send them like a confession saying that you're in love with them, then your heart's going to be stomped on. It's going to be much more heartbreaking. So it's worth basically the tiny bit of feeling of rejection, the tiny bit of perhaps maybe even humiliation when you go out and say to your crush that you would like to go on a date with them from the beginning, because it's just a less intense experience. It's going to be much more intense later down the road if you've played the nice guy or nice girl route, and it's just got way too intense, and you just got way too deep into it, basically. So it's better to be honest from the beginning, and say that, put your cards out on the table, say that you would like to go on a date with them, right? and not take the friendship route, because that really is going to make things very difficult for you. And, you got to be brave in this life. Life is short. You don't want to spend like 6 months or a year. Sometimes crushes can last ages when you kind of like in friend zone, and you're trying to win their heart in other ways, without being direct, basically, without telling them, it's not the best thing to do, right? Trust me, it really isn't. It's better to just get it out and over with straight away and ask them out and see what happens. If they reject you, then at least right? And if they don't, then that's great. You can start dating them immediately and not 6 months down the line after being their friend for ages. So, try and do that first. Try and be direct about it. And they will probably be really surprised, and perhaps even surprised in a really in a good way. They'll see you as someone who's very, very confident, and that might be actually very, very attractive to them, and they might actually really like that. And it may actually sway their opinion if, let's say, you waited 6 months down the line and you became their friend first and they rejected you then. But because you're direct and upfront first, perhaps that would even give you a better chance to actually go on a date with this person, right? Because they liked how confident you were and how sure of yourself that you were. And you got to have that. You got to have that, especially when you're asking someone out. So that's my ideas, that's my thoughts on, why being nice ruins your chances, and why you need to stop being a nice guy or a nice girl, because those kinds of things they rarely work. Sometimes they do. I'm not saying that they don't work, but it's best to believe that you're the majority and not the minority of the cases where it does work. It's always best to believe that in everything. Like, okay, let's just assume I'm the majority here. I'm not going to be the minority where things actually do work out. Ask them out, basically. Just be as fast as possible so you can figure out whether or not this person actually likes you. And then you're not going to waste your time. So thank you so much for watching. If you'd like to get in touch with me personally, then please go to www.christineloveridge.com. Thank you so much for watching, and I shall talk to you again very soon. Goodbye.